From basic to beautiful, from plain to picture perfect, Sinnemay turns any wreath, garland, or tree into something extraordinary. Hi, I'm Sue Warden, and today we're going to talk about Sinnemay. So what is Sinnemay? Well, it's a polypropylene mesh that looks like this. It comes in all different colors. It comes in an array of sizes from 21 inch to 11 to 6. It's color fast, you can use it indoor and out, and it makes everything look fabulous. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is how to put this into a wreath. This is the 21 inch. I like to work with this width, although both 11 and 6 inch will work in a wreath. This is just a plain PVC wreath. Now if you're using a natural wreath, then you're going to have to use a little bit of wire to hold this in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Sinnemay, and I've sort of grouped it at the end there, and I'm just going to come under and tuck a piece of the wreath around the Sinnemay to hold it in place. So you can see if you're using a natural product, you'll need to use a little bit of wire or pipe cleaner to hold that in place. And then we're just going to let the Sinnemay go where it wants to go. Okay, so I'm just going to group it up like this, and about every maybe 18 inches, 12 to 18 inches, I'm going to come back down to the wreath and use another piece to hold it in place. And then you just keep going, and you're just sort of moving it back and forth. Don't cut it yet, okay? We don't want to cut it just yet. Move it back and forth and just let it sort of blouse like this, and continue to use the wreath to hold it in place. Okay, so we'll just keep going. We're almost at the end. When you come to the end, or back to where you started, then you can go ahead and cut it. And then, before you actually start to put all of your product back into the wreath, your flowers, your ornaments, however you plan to decorate, you can just take it and tuck it, and just play with it a little bit. Tuck it into the wreath so that it's not quite as blousy. So like I say, I've used the 21 inch, but in fact, the 11 inch and the 6 inch works very well in a wreath. This is quite a large wreath as well. Okay? And as you can see, this beautiful wreath is entwined with the Sinnemay. And then I've added some flowers and some berries, some fruit, and I've actually just added a little touch of red, just to bring that chartreuse and red combination out. And we're going to add some Sinnemay to the mantle. I think that that would make it look really quite lovely. But first, let's go to the tree. Okay? So what we've done with the tree, this is about a 7.5 foot tree, and we've started at the top and wound the Sinnemay just loosely through the tree. But you have to remember to go all the way around, because the tree is going to be viewed from all sides. And then I've taken a number of different items and put them into bouquets, and everywhere that you pinch on the tree, and I'll show you how to do that, but everywhere that you pinch on the tree and put the Sinnemay in place, that's where you decorate. So earlier, we actually started with a bare tree. Now the first thing you want to know is how much to use. This is a 7.5 foot tree. Anywhere between 5 and 7 feet, you need 2 rolls of Sinnemay. And I'm going to use the 21 inch because it really gives it a beautiful effect. So come on up to the top of the tree, and just like we did in the wreath, we're going to use a piece of the tree to hold the Sinnemay in place. Now, if you are using, once again, if you're using, if you have a natural tree, then you're going to use a little piece of wire or something of that like to hold the Sinnemay in place. I'm going to come around, again, just like the wreath, leave it nice and loose, okay, so you can play with it and kind of tuck it in, and we're going to start going all the way around the tree. So you want to make sure that as you move around, you're sort of leaving the same amount of Sinnemay between each pinch, and then you just keep circling the tree. You don't have to worry about Sinnemay against the lights of your tree. The lights are not hot enough to do any damage. So once you come to the end of one of the rolls, then you're going to start a new roll. And all we do is just take our new roll and butt it up to the end of the previous roll, like so, and then just tuck it a little bit further into the tree so it's not noticeable. And we're going to cover that later anyway, so we're not concerned about that. So once you have all of the Sinnemay in your tree, then the next step is to put your decorations in. The nice part about this is that you don't need a lot. So what I've done here is I've actually combined a couple of flowers, an ornament, and some ribbon, and I've created a bouquet. And I've just used a twist tie at the bottom to hold it all together. And now we're going to put it in the tree. Everywhere that you pinch, okay, everywhere that you pinch the Sinnemay, you're going to insert one of these little bouquets. So our tree is all done, looks beautiful, and let's come over here. I've started to work on the garland. Now in this particular case, I actually had a garland on the mantle, and I inserted everything that I needed or wanted to have within the garland. So all the flowers, the ornaments, the ribbon, everything is there. And just like we've done everywhere else, both on the wreath and on the tree, we've used the garland to hold the Sinnemay in place. But this time, I'm actually going behind the garland, and I'm just putting the Sinnemay just as an added touch, just behind the garland. And there you go. So we've pulled the Sinnemay all the way through our home. We now have it on our wreath, we have it in the garland, and we have it through the tree. And it really looks fabulous. But let's now talk about taking it outdoors, okay, using Sinnemay outdoors. So what's nice about the urns is that you can insert Sinnemay in a number of different ways. This is just a little puff that I've made, and I'm going to show you how to make that. It's really easy. You just need a square of Sinnemay. Okay, so pull up your Sinnemay, and again, this is 21 inch. Cut yourself a square, like so. And before you start to do this, you also want to cut yourself a piece of wire. Always cut your wire ahead of time, then you're not fumbling around when you've got your hands full. Okay, so we're going to take this and just grab it in the middle, like so, pinch it in the middle, and then bring all four corners of that square together. Hang on to it in one hand. Doesn't have to be fancy, you're just kind of squishing it into one hand. And then you're going to take your wire and you're going to come up and wire around the piece that you're hanging onto. And before you actually twist the wire off, you're going to come in with a skewer. This is just a skewer, barbecue skewer that I use, or you can use a pick, or you can actually use the stem of a flower that you've previously cut off. And that's it. And you've got a nice little puff. You can actually put these in the tree too if you like, but they really work well in urns. And another way that you can use it in an urn, and this is lovely, I really like this, is to do what we call collaring. So I'm going to put a collar around the base of the urn, and it just kind of pulls the top part of the urn in with the bottom, and it actually creates a really nice look. So leave a little bit, again 21 inch, leave a little bit of the Sinnemay, and just come up and grab it. You can use a pair of scissors or anything that you can push with. Come on underneath and use your scissors and push the Sinnemay down into the urn. Then turn the urn a bit. Let the Sinnemay blouse, just like we have in other applications. Take it in your hand once again with your scissors and push it into the urn. And you do that all the way around. And then what I like to do is sort of bring it back to where I've left a little bit here. Tuck it in. And then it kind of looks like a bow. So I've got the nice shape that I like. I actually really love the way this is sort of dressed up this beautiful urn. And now we're going to show you how to make a bow. Again, we'll bring up the 21 inch. Bows can be made with 21, 11, 6, any size of Sinnemay. In this particular case, I'm going to make big bows for outdoors, so I want to use the 21 inch. So once again, you want to make sure you cut your wire ahead of time. And this is truly for convenience, because you don't want a handful of bow and then have to reach for your wire and having to get it ready when your hands are full. And I just sort of bend it into a U, like so. Once again, you're going to start, leave a tail, okay? And I'm just going to come up and fan the Sinnemay into my hand. I'm going to switch hands now. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold it with my left and work with my right. Now the easiest way to do this is just sort of let the Sinnemay fall on the floor, okay? Leave it on the roll and let it fall. And I'm going to come up maybe about 18 inches or so and fan again. This is actually a really simple process. Just let the Sinnemay go where it wants to go. Don't try to fight it. Make a loop. Come on back here. Do the same thing again. Make another loop. And you do as many loops as you want, depending on what size of bow that you want. So that's what we call a double. Come up and do another one on this side. Continuing to fan in the same fashion, just back and forth. And I like to use the term figure 8 because that's basically what you're doing. You're just going back and forth in a figure 8. So I actually have 2 loops on either side now. That gives me quite a sizable bow. So we're going to take our wire and put one end on one side and hold it and bring the other end around, like so. Bring your 2 ends together. You can kind of switch hands if you need to play around with it a little bit. And then you're going to give it a really, really tight twist. And I like to twist the bow rather than twist the wire. You leave your wire long so that you can attach it to other things. So that's really important. Leave that wire nice and long. Make sure it's nice and tight. And look at that. Fabulous. And it doesn't take any effort. It's actually really quite easy. So then what you would do is just cut your other end on an angle, or doesn't really matter, so that you've got a nice finished end. So there you go. Big beautiful bows to go on either side of your garage door. As you can see, Sinnemay works really well both in indoor and outdoor projects. Minimum effort, maximum results. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Sue Warden, and we'll see you next time.